Alright, welcome to another episode of Inspired Content, and we'll be looking at another chip flavor variety. We've got Capecod chips, and I got 4 of them, and I'll be trying them and then giving my thoughts and feelings on them and seeing what ideas they inspire for going further. Alright, let's get started. First one I think I'm going to look at is the Capecod limited batch roasted black garlic. Now, roasted garlic can be tasty. I don't know what the difference between a black garlic and a regular garlic would be. I don't know if it's a particular cultivation of garlic or what, but it's roasted. Yeah, it's sweeter than I expected. But it's like that sweet roasted garlic. It's got that sort of a tangy, sweet caramelized, not really caramelized, but just that sweetness that roasted garlic tends to get. Tastes like it might have a little something else in there too. I mean, there's a kettle cooked oil, probably some sea salt, roasted garlic. It's almost like there's a little bit of lime or something in there. It looks like some sugar. And dry molasses, caramel. Oh yeah, it's definitely sweeter than I expected. And dry balsamic vinegar. That might do it. So there is a little bit of that sour tang in there that you can kind of just taste. Alright. And then there's this one, which I'm kind of excited about, is the smoked gouda, which is one of my favorite cheeses. It's usually a little bit of a well, let's see. They do have the taste right. It's not as smoky as some types of Gouda can get, but they did it about right. Gouda has a very kind of mellow start to it, with a rich undertang to it, and the smoke gives that a bit of a spike to the flavor, and they get enough smokiness to it to give it that little bit of a spike without being the obviously smoky tone. But I don't know, it's really decent. I think it's interesting to think this one's a little bit, I mean, it's a good flavor, but it's a little harder to imagine like seeking in the flavor of a chip. I also think it's a flavor you appreciate enough not to just wolf down a whole bag. Alright, so next two, it looks like they're waffle cut, so what are we going to start with? Let's try the barbecue ranch. Waffle cut. Huh, that's interesting. It's hard to really know how the flavors are playing out, because there is a moment of like clash. There is a very sort of a buttermilk ranch tone in there, but it's not, I don't think it's the, it almost has a sour cream tone to it. I'm not sure I'm really getting much barbecue from it. Maybe as a background flavor. I mean, you get that tang of the ranch to start with. And as it peters out, there's an undertone of some other spices, but if I had to guess this blindfolded, I would never figure that out. I would probably maybe say sour cream and onion, and if pressed, maybe be able to venture over into ranch. But I would never guess the barbecue portion of that. I think about as close as I might come as like a Chipotle ranch that lost the spice. Alright. The next one is the waffle cut buffalo cheddar. I don't know. It doesn't smell hot. Is it just cheddar and it's a special type of cheddar from Buffalo or what? Nope. That's sort of... yeah. Not really impressed with that one. It's like a spiced vinegar. It's not really... yeah, I'm not big on that. It's just not growing on me, unfortunately. That's disappointing. It tastes, I almost taste no cheese to it. There might be a very quiet hint of it back there, but it's just like a chili oil and vinegar mix. And it's just like, which, okay, but it doesn't make me think of buffalo cheddar. I can kind of see it as like a cheap pub buffalo wing, maybe. There's no poultry flavoring, as near as I can tell. I hope not, otherwise I'm going to have a very bad couple of days. But, no, it's just spiced vinegar. Alright, so going off the top of my list, I would definitely have to say that as an all-around munchable, snackable chip, I'm going to go with the roasted black garlic as being a 5.8 out of a 6.1. I think they're pretty tasty. And I can see eating snack bags full of that, or putting it out at a party and just eating handfuls of it. But the smoked Gouda is a tricky one for me because flavor-wise, I would definitely say this is a 6.2 out of a 6.5. But I'd say it's also something that I can't imagine overdoing. I mean, like, when we think of cheeses, we almost always go to a cheddar, and you can eat cheddar with, like, apples and at meals and put crackers, it's everywhere, but Gouda is sort of, a smoked Gouda is an occasion cheese. And so I think you could definitely overdo it, and it loses some of its charm if you overdo it. And I think a few of them had to go of these chips I go would be decent. I think sitting down with a whole bag with a couple of friends just doesn't really. I mean, you could maybe put it out at a family gathering as a chip dip bowl, but. Alright. And then the waffle cut barbecue ranch, I'm gonna call maybe a 4.2 out of a 5.6. And that's really mainly because for me it tastes like a nice recipe for sour cream and onion. But it's not barbecue ranch. So if you just remove the label from it, I'd say yeah, it's a good chip. I might even rate it a 5.7 out of a 6.2. But and they're definitely snackable. I can see a big bowl of that, or a bag between friends at a gathering, but yeah. And the buffalo, 4.5 out of a 5.8. It doesn't do anything for me. I mean, it's sort of like the spiced cousin of a salt and vinegar chip. I like a salt and vinegar. I don't know that it needs spice added to it, so it's a little bit disappointing on that score. But that being said, the rating on that, let's head into ideas it inspires. So, I actually think with the roast black garlic, I can actually foresee this making a good dressing, because it is vinegar and it's got some dry balsamic vinegar in here, and the garlic, like a roast black garlic and vinegar dressing for a salad, or even just a marinade for other foods. The smoked Gouda, the fact that they got the flavor so right, it makes me wonder if it's possible to use the same flavoring method they use to do a smoked Gouda mac and cheese. I mean, like the box mac and cheese where you can just mix the powder together and you get your cheese sauce. I mean, this would be a good cheese sauce for a mac and cheese. I would go all over that. I would bathe in a bath of that. I would say with the smoked Gouda on this, I would like to see. I don't know that it works for me as a. I mean, the kettle cooked as a chip, it does work. When I think of a smoked Gouda, I tend to think of as sort of like a. Put slices of it on a burger can be good, but also like shredded over some vegetables. But generally speaking, it's something served on a cutting board with crackers. And so I would think you maybe have a better approach with a smoked Gouda cracker. I would say the barbecue ranch. I think they get the ranch pretty good, actually. It's a nice flavor of ranch. And maybe it's some of that background kick from the barbecue that you can't pick out, but it changes the way the barbecue rolls on the tongue. But I would think that as a sort of a sprinkle, like a salt shaker of the flavoring they use for this to do over like vegetables. Like steam your vegetables and sprinkle this over top of it, and it'll stick to the steamed vegetables and impart their flavor without having to go a thick, oily sauce or a dip. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to really work with on the buffalo cheddar, but yeah, it definitely needs more cheddar flavor, and I would almost wager that the salty vinegar flavor that's on it, or the spiced vinegar flavor that's on it, that's hard. I can see it on a pasta salad maybe. I mean, based off of how well the black garlic and the smoked gouda worked together. Well, not together, but how well they worked. I would almost think that you might be able to pull off something sort of like an antipesto chip. And it would be an interesting flavor experiment. I don't know how well it would go, but I can kind of see it. Get a little bit of that olive flavor, that olive oil, and the garlic with a little bit of cheese, and some of the basil and other seasonings. Well, those are some of the ideas I got from this, and hope there was some inspiration and ideas for experimentation. And I'll see you next time.